order. We'll start with the pledge. Stand if you're able, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What's the staff? Want to sing any Christmas carols or anything to start with? All right, I guess not. Call order, roll call, starting on my right.
Councilperson John Sherman.
Mayor Jimmy John King.
Councilperson Craig Anderson.
Councilperson Jeremiah Olson.
Looking for approval of tonight's agenda. Did you have anything else?
Bill, we were gonna move these guys up so they didn't have to sit for the whole thing.
You
Is
can
that
do
something?
that since there's not anybody else here before them. I put the order of annexation because I kind of expected people.
Well, okay, I was just gonna see if there's something we had to formally do to
Nope,
do
you
that.
can do
You're gonna
that.
move them up?
That works for me.
That's your Christmas present for the fire department.
I wouldn't want to sit here all night, man.
All right,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
we have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That'll carry. Now we're looking for approval of the regular council meeting minutes of November 26, 2024.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second that too.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm abstaining because I wasn't here.
All right,
Here, too.
that's $50.
No, it just brings me back to Dick Alcraft days.
Yeah, but he did it 4 times and he answered every time. In a row. All right, next we need approval of the special truth and taxation council meeting.
I'll move to approve that.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
Questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that'll take us to finance and budget. Got the accounts payable listing there with the additional accounts. And if you have any questions, we'll direct them to the finance director, Carl. They must be trying to think one up, Carl.
Right, well, and on this note, with this, the other thing that I would like to ask you guys is we would like to do a check run before the end of the month since there's not another council meeting, so if you would approve for us that we can run those checks and get that done for the end of the month.
All right, separate motion or can we go
Together.
together?
I'll make that motion to approve the finances and to allow the, what'd you call it, second check run?
Second check run.
Yep.
Second to that?
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That'll carry. That takes us into motions and general business with Craig's previous motion. We'll start with the fire department 2024 capital.
See, two of them there, right?
Yep, we got 2, but we'll start with that. We're looking at, this thing's slower now. 2024 fire department capital equipment plan, replace rescue 2. According to the fire department's capital equipment plan in the 2024 budget, rescue 2 is scheduled for replacement. Fire department went out and obtained 2 quotes. Pierce the Queen Emergency, $400,270, that's state contracting pricing. And Hyman, $200,000.
Is that like for a similar thing? The two are similar items?
You know, to be fair, there was probably some things that we could axe off the McQueen bid to get it down to the 350-ish range. And we may be as high as 225 at Hyman when we're all done, all turnkey, but we still think there's about $100,000 in difference advantage to go with Hyman for.
But the Hyman it'll handle all your needs that you're looking for?
Should be a comparable piece of equipment, we're convinced of that, yes.
Cool.
The current rescue truck is a 2013 model, will be repurposed as a brush truck, replacing the existing 1998 brush truck. After review, the fire department committee has agreed to purchase a Hyman truck, Hyman fire equipment less the state contracting pricing for this vehicle. The acquisition will be funded through the fire department capital plan. So tonight, they're asking the council action to be to approve or deny the purchase of the 2025 Hyman rescue truck. Looks like a pretty nice truck.
I think it looks cool too. That's all that matters, what it looks like.
That 98, you put that on auction or whatever?
Yeah, I think the plan will be, so this Hyman truck, full disclosure, is probably gonna be close to 2 years by the time we source the chassis and get the box built, so 2 years before it's in service. After that, when Rescue 2 is in service, our old Rescue 2 will be then repurposed to a brush truck, so that will take several months. Then once that is done, then we will have a spare 98 brush truck that will sell on surplus or to a local fire department, similar like we did the Rescue 1 when Carl helped us with that, for someone local.
So this pricing, once you sign the contract, will hold for 2 years or whatever, if it takes that long to build it?
Good question.
I see on the Pierce one, they wanted like half done.
Yes, so, the, $117,000 way the quote is spec right now is the box they build in the back. That will be locked in once we sign the contract. The F-550 chassis, that could be suspect to change, depending on the model year current pricing. We think we can source that in 6 or 8 months. We feel fairly confident that there's not much, if any, pricing, or a significant price increase. But both manufacturers will not lock in the Ford chassis pricing until it's on the ground. So,
Alright.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion to approve the purchase of the Hyman rescue truck. We
Second.
have a second. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That carries. Now we'll get on to your next one. Fire Department authorization for SCBA purchase. The Stewartville Fire Department is partnering with Homestead County Cooperative to purchase SCBA equipment. This cooperative agreement provides access to state contracting pricing, ensuring cost efficiency for the purchase. The department is already familiar with these SCBA's and they are the same brand as the current equipment. This compatibility will enable parts replacement, ensure a seamless transition. The Scott SCBA's come with a lifetime warranty and a 15-year operational lifespan. Funding for this purchase is available through the fire department's capital budget. Additionally, public safety aid funds totaling $299,758 received in December of 2023 are eligible to be applied toward this purchase. So we have 2 motions on this one. Approve the resolution 2024- authorizing entering into joint and cooperative agreement for purchasing of self-contained breathing apparatus. Second motion will be to approve and deny the purchase of the Scott's SCBA's.
Is that an item that you guys were working on trying to get like some sort of joint grant?
Yeah,
That just kind of fell through?
it did, so that was with Homestead County, all the neighboring departments around us, and we had a grant writer, and yeah, we just didn't get it this time around.
Yeah, that
The
worked.
goal is, what we ended up doing is scaling back our plan, and as a result, and so what we're looking at doing now is outfitting engine 3, truck 1, and then also engine 2, but leaving engine 1 with what we have currently, with the hope that there might be another grant out there that we can use for air compressor and then also to outfit the final engine.
Okay. So your total package is $141,246, what it looks like?
Yeah.
You can use that, could you wholly use that out of the $299 or on this other money you got, is that what your plan is? You're gonna take it right out of that $299,000 you got?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That looks like a good idea.
Yeah, any other questions? Josh?
No.
Well, we'll look for a motion on the first one, to approve resolution 2024 authorizing entering into a joint cooperative agreement for purchasing of self-contained breathing apparatus.
Make the motion to approve that.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Second motion will be to approve or deny the purchase of the Scott SCBA's. I'll move to approve. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, that also carries.
Thank you guys.
You guys are more than welcome to stay the rest of the night, or you can leave if you want.
On that note. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for all you guys do.
Yeah,
Keep up the great work.
thanks for the, two-way street making it work for us too, so appreciate it.
We'll see you, we'll see a bunch of you tomorrow night.
10-4.
Yep.
Are you here on your own?
I'll stay for a little bit.
All right, let's back up to the orderly annexation agreement. As you are aware, we held a joint public hearing with the High Forest Township on November 12th to receive comments from the public. The High Forest Township Board has approved the resolution amending the orderly annexation agreement to include certain property north of I-90. So the council action tonight would be adoption of resolution 2024-20, a resolution to the Office of Administrative Hearings, a joint resolution of the City of Stewartville and High Forest Township, designating an unincorporated area as in need of orderly annexation and conferring jurisdiction over said area upon the Office of the Administrative Hearings pursuant to Minnesota Statute 415.0325 and the terms of this agreement. Whoever makes the motion's gotta read that all back. So is there any questions or discussion on the orderly annexation? If you have any, now's a good time to ask. Josh?
No, I think everything was answered at that meeting.
Okay. Alright,
No, I'm happy with it.
okay,
Yeah, I'm fine.
alright. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the orderly annexation agreement.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries. Thank you. Now, next item will be proposed library expansion, approval of layout plan. Staff has been working with the architects on the two main layout plans for the proposed library expansion project. These are included in the attachments along with the library board's recommendation. That's in the minutes of their recent board meeting. This recommendation centers around what we've referred to as a flip, where the current library space would become the community center and senior citizen space, and the new construction area would be the new library space. The next step after this will be the selection of a construction manager, similar to the process the city utilized for the fire station. The selected CM will then work with city staff and the architect and interested board council members to hone in on the final revisions for the final layout plan. And then that can then be used for final estimate construction costs. While the project will still be bid out, this will provide the city with a budget parameters that can be worked with pending final city council approval. Questions, discussion on this? Did we look at the two plans, the option A and B2B? Josh, you got any questions?
No, I think, flipping it makes sense. It's like,
Gary, you got any questions?
I like it.
No, we discussed this at the library board meeting and everyone was doing, it just made so much more sense when you showed it this way. So, actually, that's it,
Well, the motion, we need a motion to approve or deny, and do they need to?
You're hitting by three, but I think you can have my that, so.
Oh, Santa Claus over there?
Yeah, sorry, a major benefit to this, the B2B, is both logistical, in that you could do the full construction of the new library space, move over, then do the construction of the, for the civic center replacement, without any kind of interruption, without any major interruption in library services. This, the B2B also preserves the green space behind the library for potential future project. So
See,
We're not in good hands tonight.
you can't teach an old dog new tricks, can you? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the layout plan.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That will also carry. So, we move right on down to Minnesota Pollution Control Agency.
Really
Whoops, excuse me.
be thinking about one or a couple of you, or leave Jeremiah in charge, to be a council rep. So as we look at these next two steps of selecting a construction manager, and then as we work on a final revision of the plan, so that you all are a part of it. And it can be any one of you, it can be all of you. So be thinking about who might want to be a part of that.
Congratulations.
Since he's the board rep.
Didn't even have to draw straws on that.
What's that?
All of them would be at this meeting also.
If we post it, we can, yeah.
All right, thank you for that, Bill. That takes us to Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. MPCA with their MS4 notification. The city has now officially been notified and being identified as an MS4 municipal separate storm sewer system by the MPCA, which is the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, according to and subject to Minnesota rules and laws. The attachment provided you with a copy of the letter and a summary of what MS4 means. This will involve a permit process and will also involve a responsibility in educating city residential and commercial and industrial residents, along with the establishment of monitoring and control requirements for all property owners to abide by. The MPCA will be working with the city for these future requirements and provide the guidelines for the phase steps of implementation and compliance. Now, this was presented for you and yours and the community's information at this time. Jenna, do you have anything you want to add to this designation?
Are you the subject matter expert on this?
No,
I'm just curious, because isn't it, we already do this stuff, right?
we do a lot of it, we don't do all of it, and we don't document it. And now we need to document it, and we also need to go and inspect things. So there's a few more steps that are going to be required. And there are some people in my firm who do this every day. They just do stormwater all the time.
Wow,
So yes, they are subject matter experts.
But so what,
I'm a generalist.
we don't really, I'm just thinking going forward with CIP, it doesn't, the way I read it, it doesn't seem like there's anything overly different that we'd have to do, other, the documentation I can understand, so they know exactly what steps are being taken. I don't see how this helps filtrate any better if our storm sewers still go straight
It's
out.
up to us to police it.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to do more monitoring and policing, controlling.
Yeah, yep.
that
So
NPC.
now we're responsible for when a developer or a site comes and gets built upon, that after a rain event, we have to go out and actually inspect it to see if they've had a discharge or they've had something go wrong, and we have to document and tell them to fix it and put in penalties or whatever, make them fix those things.
So what was it a month ago, before we got this? How did we handle it?
We didn't have to enforce it, they did.
So this is all just a bunch of BS on paper anyhow.
And technically, if you wanted to really look at the requirements of being an MS4, someone could have said we were one 15 years ago, but nobody pointed it out.
Huh.
Is this something Dylan or somebody can do?
This is definitely something Dylan and Sean can help take on, once we get it set up.
So the main thing though is just that you gotta be diligent, because if there is an event and something gets in there, then we're more responsible, or they're gonna put it on us for not catching it basically, or not following up, or.
Now,
Dylan's
it's more
gonna
of
do
a
some of the
cleanup.
GPSing to meet the,
Correct.
we got a GPS storm sewer outlets and all this stuff. So he's gonna work on some of that in the off season. We put so much on him this first year, I told him I'll work on the reporting and we'll work together doing it, but we're gonna split it up. I'm not putting that whole thing on. Dylan's had so much thrown on him this first
No,
year.
we're just one of our guys can do it.
Yep, well, we're gonna work on
We'll figure
it.
it out somebody else.
We're not gonna bring somebody new on board.
So one of the requirements is to have the exact location of every discharge or every outlet that we have and know where those are. And then to periodically get it documented that you've gone and inspected them through the year. So that's just one thing.
Craig, you are right, we do, and most of the stuff we do anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if we see stuff that's plugged and whatnot, we take care of it, we unplug it and do it. Now, there might be some that are out in areas that we don't get to that often that we're gonna have to go check and report now. But if we see something, we generally take care of getting it cleaned up.
And a lot of this can easily be taken care of with GIS, where with the GIS system, we can help Dylan, or even Dylan can likely write it himself, but he can write a quick program where whoever from the Public Works team can just pick up their phone, and when they go and clean out an outlet, they can actually just go in.
Put their note, take pictures and put their notes right into it.
Put it
and-
right in the app,
goes
and
right
then
into
it's
it.
already in our documentation and we're done.
And it's in there, the format's already in there, so it's just us learning how to operate the format.
Yeah.
That GIS stuff is amazing. I can't even
It's
believe how
gonna
much
come
you
down
do.
to education and just being structured enough and making sure we do it.
Interesting, alright, thank you.
Other questions or discussion? Bill?
Well, and there's a big educational piece for citizens. Of course, we don't want them dumping oil or changed oil,
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
like
but
that.
so what changes there? You weren't supposed to be
Yeah.
dumping oil down your storm sewer anyhow.
Well,
Another
So
one
that's
is
another-
grass clippings.
Yep, that is a
You shouldn't be
responsibility
shooting them out
we
into
take
the
on.
street.
So
which
every
some
year,
people
we
do.
have to prove as the city, we are running an educational event or doing something educational to the public. So whether that's putting flyers in one of the utility bills or during one of the Wednesday night events, having an actual booth that says, just with a banner that says, hey, don't put this down your drain.
Couldn't you put it on Facebook? to see if
We can put it
Facebook-
on Facebook, but again, it's just, it has to be documented, so to take a
Just bring it
picture.
up at DU if you want, it's probably.
We can put a sign up at the DU, whatever, it just has to be documented
Prove that you're doing,
and
Let's talk
proven
about
that
it.
you're doing it.
Yeah,
So
'cause
that when you get audited, which, yes, they do go around and audit the cities.
Sure, that guy's gotta prove his job.
Yep. Then,
It's like the guy that inspects air compressors.
right, so they do go through, have the audits and, make sure the cities are doing their due diligence on everything, so, it's documentation as well as everything else, just like we have to document for our water, when we're adding everything we add for our water, when we're treating our wastewater, now we're taking care of our stormwater.
Let's put Jeremiah in charge of making sure this is.
Nobody has to actually go around and make sure that the dogs aren't pooping in the storm drains like the infographic shows, right?
Oh, no. I mean,
It's just,
that's
you
one
need
of
to
the,
make sure people know they're not supposed to do that.
yeah, that's one of the public, education pieces, hey, pick up after your dog.
We tell Elon starts cutting back all the expenses, this stuff's gone.
So what do we do with the homeless people now, so they're pooping and stuff?
Yeah, right. So we don't need any motion on that, we can move
Oh,
on.
really, what do you do? No, this is just informational.
Yep, it's gonna be a work in progress, looks like for this next year, and I think the indication Sean and I had gotten was probably go into formal effect the 1st of 2026, but we'll work with them if they start that sooner.
As developments come in, we're telling them,
Okay.
hey, we're still gonna make sure as you design, look at these rules,
Makes
because
sense to me.
we're gonna be enforcing them.
All right, we got that one covered. Next one, limited use permit, Highway 30 path, MinDOT. Oh, I just was time to renew the permit with MinDOT for the allowance and utilization of the section of city trail along Minnesota's Highway 30. Attached is a copy of the new LUP for the non-motorized trail and map. Staff would recommend the approval for the renewal through the attached city resolution. That resolution would be Resolution 2024- limited use permit with MinDOT.
Okay, who's the expert on this one that I can direct a question to? Is it you, Bill?
I can try, yeah.
We actually need a 6-page document to let us have people walk and run on a trail alongside of the highway.
Sits in there right away, that's the trail we use. So it's the section down.
6 pages, I was just reading this, I can't believe it.
And then the crosswalk. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you talk about over-regulating stuff, my goodness. Anyhow, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to renew.
Alright, second?
I'll second it.
Other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. Next item, master agreement and professional services agreement with SEH. SEH Incorporated has submitted their standard master service agreement effective 1/1/25 with proposed automatic renewal unless changed or revised by city request. And then a supplemental letter agreement for Stewartville effective 1/1/25 runs through 12/31/26. This language has mainly been a part of the supplemental contract with the city in the past. It's now being presented as the initial understanding for all work and contracts during the year. These agreements outline the responsibility and services for both SEH and the city in working together for the coming year. As the city may approve additional work or additional projects, a supplemental contract will be provided outlining that particular work which SEH will provide for the city. Now, approval authorizing City Administrator Schimmel to sign master agreement and professional service agreement with SEH Incorporated. Jen and I were talking just a little bit ago, it'd be a 2-year renewal. I asked her if it was an evergreen on the master. Basically it is, if you know what an evergreen agreement is, once we sign it, it's signed until we stop it. But we did talk about also looking at the supplemental at the 2-year anniversary of the other one, correct?
The supplemental is a 2-year, so we can relook at the master.
Master.
Every 2 years too.
All right. Any other questions for Jenna? Discussion? Thoughts?
Seems to be working to me.
Then we need a motion.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That will carry. Year-end financial request. 2024 year-end financial requests. The council had previously approved the cash flow needs for the water and sewer of 2024 projects. Recognize that retained earnings balance will be utilized. Formal approval of the use of the enterprise designations and retained earnings should be considered. Questions for Carla, if you have questions or discussion on this, because the council action is going to be to approve or deny the use of the enterprise designated retained earnings. If you have anything you want to throw in, Carla?
This is just one of those, the normal enterprise designated funds that we do on an annual basis, and you'll see some other reserve designations that we'll go through. So it's kind of a business as usual. You just see the budget in there versus the spend, and then anything will go into our reserves that we do not spend. There are some things depending on project, especially like last year with the sewer project where we were using some of our reserve funds and not just cash flowing it all through 1 year.
I'll make a motion to approve the use.
We have a motion to approve, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, or any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that will also carry. All right, next item. General business resolutions, 2 resolutions on this one. Committing general and capital funds to specific purposes, and number 2 will be committing specific revenue sources to special revenue funds. The 2011 Governmental Accounting Standard Board adopted GASB number 54, which deals on how fund reserves are classified in the governmental financial statements and reports. It is similar to the old designation reserve terminology that has been used in the past. The 2 resolutions attached are required as a condition of GASB 54. Number 1, the first resolution committing general fund balances in the new method of transferring funds in and out of designated reserves that the councils have set up for specific projects or purposes. And number 2, the second resolution will be committing to special revenue funds to document what funds the city has approved, either by legal requirements or council approval, to be treated as a special fund. Okay, same deal. If you have some questions or discussion, you can ask Finance Director Carla before we make the motions. Does anybody have any questions?
What is the cable TV capital for?
So that's for all of your meetings and, yeah, so paying for that.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, the first motion on the first resolution is to approve or deny the resolution committing general fund balances for specific purposes and projects. There's a motion.
Make a motion to approve that.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That one carries. Second motion will be to approve or deny the resolution committing specific revenue sources in the special revenue fund. Motion?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second that.
Questions or discussions?
I do have one question for Carla on this.
Yes.
Why do they do this? Like, why do we have to break it down into that many of things and say that that's specific? I mean, our budget is gonna allow us to spend on what we need, and if we failed something, so be it.
We don't have to. This is something that Barb had put in place, and this is one of the things too that, if you remember when we did some of the capital planning with Mike Bubani, he talked about our general funds and our capital reserves.
He talked about making it more broad.
Making it more broad. And nothing really kind of changed with this. We have these designations and they're all in there, and this is just, we've kind of gone forward and used that. As you can see in some of those that were highlighted in yellow, like the parking lot, the seal coat, where normally we have a budget in there for 2024, those were a couple of those that we used that normal budgeting, and those were the ones that we reallocated for the library project. We have the opportunity that we can take any of these reserves, and you guys can take these reserves and you can say, hey, we want to use them for something else. They don't have to be used for this, and you can reallocate them to something else. So maybe.
So you can reallocate it annually, but you can't touch the money that's in there already unless it's for that specific
Oh, no, you could
purpose.
reallocate that. You could absolutely reallocate it. You guys have the opportunity and have the authority to reallocate it if you need.
So this is just a business transaction again anyhow, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we already did have the motion and the second.
So we got a motion and a second, that's correct. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That also carries. Alright, next item will be the 2025 final budget and 2024 tax levy. Number 1, we're gonna have 2 on here, you got 2 resolutions again. Number 1 is the approval of the 2025 budget after discussion is held. The 2025 proposed final budget is $11,879,814. And the second motion we'll be making after that is the truth and taxation presentation was held December 2nd to receive public comments, concerns, and additional. In September, the council certified a preliminary levy of $4,878,500 plus the pool referendum levy of $141,959 and a fire hall referendum levy of $114,905. The council may certify this amount or a lower amount as a final levy. The attached resolution shows that revised levy amount as presented in the truth and taxation presentation was $4,795,935. The certified final levy needs to be adopted and sent to the county auditor on or before December 3rd. So, discussion. Anybody see anything else that they'd like to discuss?
How much time is left on the pool and the fire hall?
The pool is 2026, that will be done, and the fire hall, I believe, is 2033.
Any other questions?
We'll move to approve the final budget for 2025.
We have a motion to approve, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That one carries. Next motion would be to adopt resolution 2024 dash, a resolution approving 2024 tax levy collectible in 2025.
Move to approve that.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That also carries. Now, 2025 fee schedule. The Finance Committee has reviewed all fees and the revision history. Proposed changes are highlighted in yellow on the attached sheet. Input was also sought from department heads and city hall staff. The committee discussed updating development fees, many of which have remained unchanged since 2004. It was recommended that full city council be involved in discussion regarding these fees. An additional chart and community compares are attached for your reference and further discussion. So, that being said, I'm sure you've gone through the other fees, adult entertainment fees and animal and pump fees and stuff. And noted the changes. Now, we gotta go to the development fees.
Just to give you guys a little bit more background on this, when I was up at at the finance directors conference, one of the things that they talked about, I actually had a whole class on, was how cities leave a lot of money on the table. A lot of things that we look at, you know, within our normal budgets, we look at and we are doing, as a 3% increase, we look at increasing, you know, within our salaries, within our benefits and all of those things. But we don't look at these fee schedules enough. And one of the things that we really could do that would be advantageous so we do not have to increase our levy amounts as much is to look at these and kind of look at a cost of living increase on our fees on an annual basis. So that's kind of what prompted me to go back through all of these fees and kind of put all of this together for you guys to take a look.
I did not know we had an adult entertainment fee.
Yep.
I'm in the rears.
All right, well, let's have a little discussion on all these development fees. My discussion on that I had held with Carl and Jeremiah is, all we ever talk about is affordable housing. Affordable housing, we go to deals on it all the time. I feel this is just adding to the unaffordability of housing in a community at our time when we're trying to bring developers and stuff into this community. There's already enough developers asking that we put infrastructure in and do those sorts of things like that before they even come in here or purchase the land. I'm not agreeing with that either, but Jeremiah?
No, I can't see us going in and putting in, just speculating on someone buying land. So, you know, so I definitely don't agree with that, and, I mean, the fees have been, what, for how long?
Since 2004,
2000,
right?
yeah.
Well, I don't know, what do you guys bring up? You're proposing to get rid of some of these?
No, raising the development fees.
Oh.
See, if you look at this one here,
Yeah,
Carl's
it
done a
doesn't
great job of
touch
putting
that
this
line.
stuff up here. Like she's, here's some of the
Oh,
proposed.
that one, okay, I see what you're saying.
We're at 2,000 and with inflation, it would be somewhere around 3,300. You know what I'm saying? So that brings you up 10,000 an acre whack and sack. And
So in comparison, not that we want to compare ourselves to Rochester, we actually want to be a lot less, which we are. 4 SAC per acre on this end of town in Rochester, it's $42,000 per acre just for the sack.
But there's a
Ours says
whole list of things
2,000.
Roster does, and I do not agree with, I
Ours is
don't
2,000
want
and
to
theirs
compare
is
to them.
42,000. The cheapest per acre for sack in Rochester, I believe it is 8,000 to 9,000 per acre.
So
So
why would
we-
you wanna build there?
So, yes, we are very cheap compared to theirs, and we should not be looking at them exactly, but they have been climbing theirs due to their costs. So,
So we'd be looking at inflationary according to this, going from like 2,000 an acre to 3,300. I'd be perfectly fine with that.
Not at all, Craig, not at all.
You don't think so, though, you wanna keep it? I don't know if you keep it.
You got nobody knocking the
So
door down
I-
right now to develop.
Well, okay, so I agree with what you're saying, but when we have special projects come up, there's certain times that we convene and we'll waive fees. You know what I mean, depending on what it is. So if there's some projects that should be coming in at
You
retail,
wanna start that deal, that's like handing out variances, once you start it, how do you stop it?
well, I mean, I can go both sides of this, I could argue it either way. I understand you wanna bring people in, but I also don't know that you gotta be able to, it's gotta be ballpark, it's gotta be, so it can be under, but you can't just sit for 20 years and keep it the same price. And just cause someone that's gonna come in and wants to develop is gonna complain.
I've been selling food to this country for less money every 20 years, and I keep doing it. It's for the good of the community. I just don't see where this is gonna add to our. Every fee you add on makes, the developer will pay it, Craig, the developer will pay it, but he's gonna pass it right on.
Well, no, and I see that point too, and I do think that we're way over regulated and there's fees for frickin' everything that I don't like. I'd love to see it toned down. But I also just, I don't understand, it's not, we're still the same price 20 years ago. And that is not a lure enough to have people run down here and wanting to build everything. Although we're doing pretty dang good right now, but it's not because it's 2,000 an acre for sack.
That's part of it. Go ahead and throw 49,000 acre out there and see if we get.
Well, I don't, that's insane. I mean, I'm realistic about it, but I also think that there should be, I mean, there's realistic room for change on things. And there's certain areas where I don't know that that's the main thing. It might be part of it, you're right. But if somebody walked away and said, but screw this, sack is 3,000 an acre, we're gone, I'm gonna go to Chatfield.
That's whack and
Same
sack,
price.
that's 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, that's 9,000, it's 3,500 is $10,000.
Let me see these other cities.
Each one of them's that, Craig, it's not just one number.
No, I understand that, but I'm looking at.
So now you come in and
But
buy
like
land.
Chatfield's 3,000 and 2,000,
Yeah.
Cass and 2,000, 2,000. Byron's cheap for sack, 13 and 12, they're cheap for both. Is that why they've got maybe more development than we do? I mean, if that's the case, I'd be all for it, absolutely. But I think we're crazy not to open our minds and at least look at what we can and can't do.
You gotta put the numbers to it now. If you're looking at buying 2 acres, it's not a big deal. If you're coming in here and buy 40 or 80 acres to bring in, add on another 10,000 on top of the price of land. See how lucrative that is for you.
I know, but if you're talking about raising a price of something that's 20 years old. I mean, it's not.
Don't you wish gas was what it was 20
I
years
don't
ago?
like raising anything. I mean, I'm against a ton of governmental stuff. But in the same sense, you can't just be held down either. I mean, just because someone complains. I mean,
Nobody's complained. I'm not saying, they're not complaining. They're just not coming here.
Would we be able to put on like a sliding scale, so if they wanted 1 or 2 acres, it's this, and if they wanted 10 to 20, can we do that?
You don't wanna start that game either.
no.
yeah, that's true too. I can see that.
So
You'll be
some
building stump streets all over this town then.
municipalities do it purely by the connection, and so they divide it out by the each. And it doesn't matter per the acre. Here, you guys do a connection charge, and your connection charge is actually very, very low compared to everyone else. So your developer is paying the set whack and sack per acre, and then that builder who's building a business or a house is paying that connection charge. Well, in Byron and Casson, they're paying a lot more for that house to get installed at that connection charge than the developer is paying for that acreage to get developed.
Yeah, ours is 350 compared to 1,300, 1,688, like.
There's a balance somewhere in there.
I guess the difference in my mind, be it right or wrong, is you can put any number you want on this, it goes to the end user, the person trying to purchase the home in our community.
It does, but.
I'm not saying the developer won't come if we charge them $49,000 an acre. I'm saying that makes a medium beginning home $400 and some thousand.
But in reality, what needs to be looked at is how as developments coming in, how is your infrastructure holding up? How is your plant holding up? Are you able to invest in it and keep going? Because that's what these funds are supposed to do. Your whack and sack is supposed to be the, basically, your one-time commitment charge, or commitment fee to be a part of, a user of this community. And so does your plant have the capacity, or the system have the capacity to take you on?
Part of Rochester's big reasons they had to raise it up so high is they're in old infrastructure that leads to the first part needed to be upsized because of all the new addition that's been built on the outside.
We've spent millions in the last 15, 16 years on infrastructure.
Correct.
We're in pretty good shape. And Jenna, it's still, that infrastructure will still be paid by the end user every month. They're still putting money into the enterprise fund.
Correct. But there's still gonna be major upgrades that sometimes those monthly fees won't account for, because a clarifier won't last forever.
Let's look at it another way. I understand what you're saying. So, it does us no good to have a high whack and sack if no developer comes to ever pay it to build here.
Correct.
So now we're in worse shape than we were before.
Right, so we have to find some sort of middle ground, and I'm not saying $3,333 is the right thing. And I'm not saying 2,000 is the right thing. I am saying 42,000 is not the right thing for us.
Certainly not.
It's not
Certainly
the-
not
But
for
I
us.
think we can agree that we should be able to take a look at this stuff.
But
I say we can
I
look
am
at it
saying we
annually.
should look at it periodically.
Yeah, but the other thing to think about is if you're not raising these fees, ultimately for the projects that need to be done to support the city, then you're raising the tax levy. So honestly, it's being paid for all by the taxpayers.
How many million do we need to stuff away in our enterprise fund? Give me that answer. How do we know how many million we need to hide in the enterprise funds? Just sitting there. Always for a future project.
We've been using them for the projects when they came up, and those funds are there, and nothing's being hidden away in any place. They're very visible for everybody to see, and they're allocated to those funds for any of the things that need to happen. There was the huge project that we had, that we have the ability to pay cash for, and then you are not paying the additional interest, you're not paying all the additional things, you're not raising all of the funds and raising all these other things too. And that was part of the things that we were able to see too, in looking at some of the stuff with the comparison to other cities to where our fees are at as well. So that's the ability that we, are very fortunate to have, because otherwise we may be sitting in a position where we have to jump things way up, or we're borrowing a lot of money, which isn't gonna help either.
Even that Michael had suggested, he suggested that we regularly raise water prices and things like that on a scale, so that we're ahead of the game on that. And we were able to use some of this stuff to not have to borrow, which I think is fantastic. And I don't wanna be in a situation where it's all gone, and we have to borrow everything.
It's easier to do small upgrades than it is to do all of a sudden you fall behind and you gotta do a big one.
Right, and I think we've been running everything as far as finances go pretty dang good here, and I think we've been doing a good job on holding the levy. Part of that is because of these fees. I totally respect where you're coming from, I get it, I don't wanna be out pricing anything. If it was to a point where people are gonna say, see ya, that wouldn't work either. So we just gotta, it's up to us to juggle the balls, figure it out.
Bill?
Maybe what you can do, you kind of touched on it between what Carlos suggested you all is, each year when you look at the individual utility rate per unit, then take a look at these and see if there's a small adjustment that can be made similar. So that adjustment stays current at a 1.5% or 2% or some each year and go that way. Because the flip side of those fees are, if you notice Chatfield, these last 3 months of the year, or 4 months, they have a program now, a promotional program to eliminate the fees to try to encourage some developers looking down there. So there's both sides of how these fees affect development and things like that, but.
It is crazy how many different things there is a fee for though. I mean, every single thing you're nickel and dimed for. Maybe we can be super creative and have a one fee covers all, boom, when you come up with that number, it just looks more attractive. Instead of saying, oh Christ, I gotta connect, now I gotta do this, and pay for a certificate, blah, blah, blah. No, it can be creative.
Well,
It could have happened tonight.
Make a motion on some of this. I mean, the other fees,
I'm cool with all the fees, so looking at the regular hard stuff that we have on here, like sweeping, plowing, sanding fees, like the changes on them. I don't see anything that's too crazy, like he pointed out there were a few. I don't even know what an adult entertainment annual license is, but that one's going way up. What is that?
That would be for a pure pleasure if they came to town.
Yeah, but they're not even in town, so we're just thinking ahead of time, so there is hope. I'm just kidding.
and there's, what is there, some of these liquor licenses we have to have a public hearing or whatever on before we can raise them?
Yeah, the off-sale one does. By state statute, you have to have a public hearing before you could raise it, so you guys could, ask to raise it, and we could have a public hearing. You can only go up to, I think, $300. Then if there is a provision that if you provide educational training, or if the property owner or business owner provides educational training to his employees, we could reduce it $100, which would bring it back down to $200. So state statute really protects off-sale liquor license from skyrocketing.
And didn't you say that these wouldn't be fees that would really take effect in 2025? They wouldn't really take effect till 2026
Yeah.
anyway, because the 2025 fees are already set. But this could get you on that discussion, because you have to have them set pretty much now, or do something special to set them
Before next October.
Yeah.
Well, so theoretically, this could be.
For the liquor license, for just that liquor license.
Oh, that's the only ones that are set already?
Right.
Yeah, liquor, cigarette, those ones that we've done the applications now and approvals.
So this sounds like something you wanna bring up at a workshop, right? Like, cause I don't think we can,
Well, you gotta decide if we're gonna raise or lower anything right now. I mean, that's why we're looking at these fee schedules.
You can break it up, you can,
Yeah,
you
you can
can
break
pull the
part of it
development
up.
fees and say, let's look at this more at a workshop. Let's approve the rest of them as suggested or whatever, pull up what you need.
Personally, you guys, as far as the city of Stewartville fees 2024, the ones that are all highlighted yellow, I can live with that. And then more further discussion, obviously, next year would be necessary. I do think that I would not be in favor of approving the development stuff, just given the conversation we had tonight, that I'm not comfortable making a motion, to change that. That's my 2 cents.
That's your motion?
Well, that's my discussion that I'm telling these guys right now.
yeah, I think the stuff highlighted in yellow, I think that all makes sense.
We need a motion.
I'll move that we approve the fee schedule, the highlighted ones in yellow.
And the other comes up at
And I'll defer the development fees to the workshop later.
I'll second that.
is that a usable motion?
Huh?
Is that an okay motion?
Mm-hmm.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions?
Who seconded it, I'm
I
sorry?
did.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
I
Opposed? That'll carry. Next one takes us to year-end audit engagement letter. Attached, please find the proposal from Smith Schaefer to conduct the 2024 year-end financial audit and prepare the financial statement under all legal compliances. The proposal is for $40,500, including expenses. The fee increased $3,000 from last year. Included in the proposal is the work needed for the application and necessary documentation for the GFOA Certificate of Achievement. Council has previously taken action directing staff to obtain this certificate. The certificate is a national recognition of the city's financial and economic status, which will be used to determine bond ratings and economic development tool in the measurement of the council and staff's financial management of public assets. So the action requested tonight will to be approved or denied the Smith Schaefer Associate proposal to conduct the 2024 year-end audit and prepare the financial statements GFOA Certificate of Achievement application.
I'll move to approve that.
Well, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. That takes us on to the warming house. Hiring of attendants. In preparation for the hockey skating season, we are recommending the following to the staff of the warming house at Meadow Parks. The Florence warming house will be open, but no staff on duty. Contractual services employees Jacob Chop, hiring back from previous years Kent Larson and Steve Tittle. New for the 24-25 season, James Hale and Bo Betcher. Council action request is to approve the above applicants.
So we just found out that one of the applicants was in an accident and isn't gonna be able to work. So if you would approve what we have in there and then give us additional, leeway to hire as needed, yeah.
Questions?
I'll make a motion to approve those hires and to provide the leeway needed to make an additional hire.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That'll carry. 2025 election, polling place designation. New legislative changes include the need to designate our polling place each year. The resolution attached will be for elections in 2025. Anticipate that by next December, we will designate 2 areas for polling places as we are hitting our max capacity for 1 polling place. We work with the Homestead County Election Office and determine where our second polling place will be held for 2026. So the council action requested on this one will be to approve resolution 2024 designating the Civic Center as the polling place for Stewartville residents.
Make the motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Public Works, purchase of mower trailer. As per approved 2025 capital equipment plan and the 2025 budget, staff is recommending replacing 16-foot mower trailer. We got 2 local companies quote for the trailer, Ferguson Truck and Trailer Sales, PJ Trailer for $9,950. Denny's Trailer Sales for $10,800. The quote from Ferguson Truck and Trailer is a little bigger. Oh. 16-footer 2-axle. We'll be able to haul skid over on there too if you need to.
Yep. 7,000 on the axles.
So the council actually requested is to approve or deny the purchase of the mower trailer from Ferguson Truck and Trailer.
Make the motion to approve.
Second? Second. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. Last item, letter of support. Homestead County Land Use Plan. As you may be aware, Homestead County has initiated an amendment to the general land use plan in early November. It had called for eliminating the current requirements for cities to review and approve land use plan changes within the urban service area before the county board considers proposed revisions. Staff has since encouraged the county staff that cities should be provided a review opportunity and have revised the amendment to read as follows. When the county receives an application for a land use plan map amendment, the county shall notify any applicable township or city if amending an urban service area within 2 business days. The township and the city shall have 60 days or 2 regular meetings, whichever is more, from the date of the notification to provide a resolution of support or objection to the proposed land use plan map amendment. The county may grant an extension of up to 30 days for the township or city to finalize the resolution if there's extenuating circumstances that occur. The county shall have 60 days following a response from township and city to evaluate the application and bring forward a recommendation to the Planning Advisory Commission and Board of Commissioners. Staff is recommending your approval to the attached letter of support being sent to the county board. So, that being said, there is a motion to authorize a letter of support to the Elm State County Commissioners.
So what you have there is a sample, kind of what we quickly put together this afternoon. We might tweak it a little bit, but it's kind of the gist of things.
They had originally had an amendment to eliminate city or township input. And so us cities got together to say there's gotta be a way we can work together better. So they agreed to revise their language to what was highlighted in yellow there. And at least with Chatfield, Byron, us, and I believe Yoda did take a look at it. The other 3 we met. We agreed that the revised language still gives us a fair chance to keep on top of it or comment, rather than be out of the picture completely. Rochester didn't agree. They had other feelings, more strict of what they felt they wanted or needed. But we feel it's a fair compromise, so that's why we'll send a letter of support up to the board for that.
Questions or discussion? Motion?
I'll make the motion to authorize a letter.
Do a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That also carries. Let's see, that takes us out of general business. Mayor, staff, consultant reports. Mayor's report tonight. City would like to send their sympathies to the families of Rita Wendt, Bernie Bussman, Bruce Thompson, and Lee Pagel. Thank you to the Chamber and the Bremer Bank, Stewartville Kiwanis Club, First Farmers and Merchants, American Legion Auxiliary, Eagle Rock, and are holding a community drive-through donation drive for holding it on December 4th, 3:30 to 5:30 here at City Hall parking lot. It was very cold. Thank the Grizzlies for bringing the buses and turning the heaters on too. We were out there and it was a decent turnout.
What day was that on?
December 4th. We'd like you all to sign up for Code Red now that it's winter time again. That's the Stewartville alert system. That's the one that'll alert you on your phone or text or email if you better get your cars off the street.
People are not signing up,
No,
so
they don't think it's gonna
it's kind of
snow.
worrisome.
Oh, they don't. After last winter, they're all, and the way this one started out, I mean, it's pretty modest. It's gonna get here. Oh, yeah. There's gonna be a lot of tickets. All right, from council, staff, mayor, I'd like to wish all of our citizens a very, very Merry Christmas. Spend some time with your families and friends, enjoy them while you can, because you don't know when that day won't be coming again. And let us all remember and thank the good Lord for the baby Jesus, that he's been on my side a time or two, and he's helping us all out. So let's all remember that when it gets time. That's all the mayor's got. Public, or city administrator's report.
Reports in your packet. You can see a lot of interaction with the state of Minnesota for obviously currently and this coming year. We're also working with them on a memorandum of understanding, as I've mentioned in the past meeting or two, for the quick trip interchange, and are working together on that. And then, last thing.
Let's remind everybody that we won't be having another meeting till January 14th.
It's one more state thing, I'll have to go back to it, so
Yeah.
keep going.
Do we wanna talk about maybe a possible meeting? Environmental negotiations.
I got my mind set on what the thing is. Let me get out of that one too.
Are you down, administrator, or you got something?
I'll pass and then you can come back to me.
Okay, is that what you wanna do?
No, because there's a couple things we're looking at, land issues,
You want
with
to ask, come
future
back?
planning, so let me collect those thoughts
Alright.
and move on and get the
Okay.
rest of the folks done.
Okay, that's fair enough. Any questions for him, let's collect his thoughts? No. Finance Director Carly, you got a report?
Yes, we have preliminary audit coming up next Tuesday, so Angelie and I are working on the stuff for the auditors, getting everything done now, going towards the final budget and going into the end of the year, everything that has to go to the county and to the state, and just trying to have things, kind of set up and all our ducks in a row, to get completed, as fast as possible at the end of the year here.
So, seeing how our next meeting's not till January 14th, I believe this will be your final report.
This is my final report, yes.
Carla, we'd like to thank you, and we appreciate all the hard work you've done the past 5 years for the community. Wishing you great success at your next job.
Thank you.
A little hand.
Sad to see you go.
All right, that'll take us to Public Works Director.
Bill,
Yep.
Bill's collected, Bill's collected.
back, bing.
All right.
It's a follow-up on the 15th. Mayor and I had met with Senator Nelson. She's agreed to initiate working with us on a re-app for 15th funding from her side of it. Representative Quam's office notified us yesterday that, and he sent the form to us yesterday, to start the work on the House side for bonding request. And then I guess we can all lobby governor's office to get back on that list. And we're gonna try again here to see if we can get that state funding for it. So that's it. And then that land issue, obviously we're looking at complex planning, future planning of facilities. And so we'll try to come up with some meeting dates or things that could potentially be in the near future with you to get some possible action on that, so we'll keep you posted. Thank you, sorry.
Is that all the collection you did? All right, any other questions for either Carla or Bill? All right, thank you both. Public Works Director Sean.
There's a report there. I would like to get your guys' opinion as far as the LEAF program has been pretty minimal of what's been out there. I said we would keep doing it until the snow hits, gives stragglers, but I'm thinking now we can just end it.
I think you better cut it off.
I would cut
If
it
you
off.
don't just put a cutoff date, it's never gonna quit.
Totally agree.
Well, so, okay, I'm gonna switch that over and it'll be done this week.
Yep, perfect.
Okay. And then as the other thing is just the hockey rinks, the guys are trying. Had good ice on it last week, and of course last weekend ruined it, but we'll just, tonight the guys are coming in again, we'll try it again.
Sounds like this weekend might ruin it again, what?
Not as bad as last weekend, I don't think, but yeah, it's warmer again. Job security.
All right, anything else for Sean? Any other questions or anything? Nope. You guys have done a fantastic job again, decorating our community and our buildings and stuff. We thank you very much for that.
Thanks. I'll let them know.
City Engineers Report. Jenna, you got anything else?
Well, I also forwarded the request for the capital budget project information to Bill. And I guess SEH's lobbyists are requesting to have that information back before Christmas so we can get all of our stuff put together since it is due to the legislature at the beginning of January, so just so you guys know. As we bring it down to the floor and go and fight for you. On that part. Otherwise, we keep working on both projects now. We're working on the 25 CIP project. We're at about 60% plans. And Dylan is doing a review for us. And then we're also have the survey completed for Legacy Drive and starting into that design. Have been in contact with the BP pipeline, and we are also contracting with boring companies to get the soil borings so we can get that design over. So anyway, moving forward there, as well as multiple meetings with developers every week.
Any questions for Jenna? Nope. Thank you, Jenna. You and Paul have a Merry Christmas. Everybody at SEH, they have a Merry Christmas too, thank you. Is Nate really back there?
He is. He didn't see this week.
I'm very directed.
Yeah, thanks sorry for not including a written report this month.
Coal in your stocking this year.
Yeah, for sure. Since my wife's name is Cole, I'll take it. I'd also like to
face now.
We were able, between Saturday and Monday, from Saturday to Monday, we were able to construct 302 gingerbread houses. We still have over 100 that haven't been cleaned yet, so if there's anyone interested in those,
How many did you say, Nate?
we built 302.
How many got left?
A little over 100. And that kit just went live today, so, I mean, that's.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
That's usually gone right away.
Yep, it's a little slower than usual, but also, the calendar's weird this year, so, but that's flying along. And before the next city council meeting, we will be having our first program of 2025. That's gonna be a team puzzle race on Saturday, January 11th. And it's been a pleasure serving the city of Stewartville this year. And I do wanna shout out Charlie Brown, who made a $10,000 donation for the library expansion this last week, so.
That's wonderful. Any questions for Nate? All right, thank you, Nate. You and the missus have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I'll get that chunk of coal to you. Start a little fire here. No fire chief's report, no pool director report, Texas Committee Commission Board, Chamber of Commerce, nothing in the packet. PDA, HRA, minutes of November 19th are in there, finance. You haven't got anything planned before you leave, do you?
Nope, I don't think so.
Library, park board, representative here, personnel.
Yep,
Whoop,
we'll need something soon, so as we talked about Carla's replacement, so we'll send out some meeting notices for you guys to combine it with your schedule to make it easy.
Planning zoning,
Not until January.
public safety. Public works, nothing ready.
Minutes in your packet, nothing spectacular, we just talked about development and housing again.
ROCOG,
Minutes in your packet, more on their long-term planning.
Transit Advisory Committee. Communications, none in the packet. Open mic, no one's left, all left us.
I would like to make
Final motion of the year, Craig.
2024 adjournment motion, please. That feels good.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, adjourned.